Hello folks, it's the Space Chaser again. Welcome to another model review video, and this time we've got the Corgi Original Omnibus Company OOC 176 scale OOC Optare Solo. Now, unless you've been living on the moon for the past 20 or so years, you can't have failed to notice the Solo. They are absolutely everywhere, and indeed probably they'll go to the moon and find one on there as well, doing some kind of shuttle bus. It was introduced by Optare of Leeds in May 1998. It was one of the first low-floor minibus designs, and between May 1998 and August 2012, 3,857 of them were produced, along with another 70 left-hand drive versions. In 2012 it was replaced with the Optare Solo SR, the restyled version of the bus, and that remained in production until 2025, the year I'm doing this review. The Corgi Original Omnibus Company model wasn't far behind the real vehicle. It was released in September of 1999. And between then and August 2014 there were 22 releases, and then more recently there have been 2 commissioned releases by Omnidecker Models as well, done in 2021. Both of those were Epsom buses vehicles, just with different destination blinds and things. So the one we've got to review is catalogue number OM44103 in the livery of Reading buses, a model of their fleet number 114 registered V114DCF. So it's got a normal box, as you can see, for an OOC, a little bit battered. It's one I've bought second hand, but you know, it doesn't matter too much. The cardboard outers are not very robust on these models, but you just take it off, slide it out there. You've got the limited edition certificate. 2,300 of these were produced, and this, as you can see, is number 1,889. And then you've got the plastic box there, reinforced with a bit of sellotape. So I'll unclip the box, I'll unscrew the vehicle. There's 2 screws there holding it to the box, and we'll get it out and have a proper look at it. Right, slight change of plan, folks. The screws that hold it to the base are absolutely frozen solid. I can't shift them, despite a lot of effort and swearing. It's remained on the base, so we'll have to review it on the base. It's one of the annoying things of these models sometimes. They were designed to be displayed in the boxes, which is brilliant if you just want to display it. But if you want to put it on a model railway or something, obviously you don't want a big humping plastic base under it. And the ease of removing it from the base is often a bit of an issue. But we'll persevere, we'll have a look round it. So we start, as always, with the front end, and it captures the look of the Solo very well indeed. You've got the sticking up destination blind there. There's the repeater marker lights up there, which are cast in and picked out in silver. Got destination blind there. Reading unusually specified their Solos with these digital blinds, which they were using on various different vehicles at the time. Most people, if they specified electronic number blinds, or indeed destinations altogether, at the time had dot matrix blinds. But Reading, as I say, specified the digital ones, as you can see there, a bit like a clock. But that's nicely represented. You've got the little bit of contrasting colour there to mark where the actual blind is. And they had normal winder blinds, as you can see there, destination Reading. Branding on the window there, branded the Solo Rider, we'll come to that in a minute. The big curved windscreen is nicely modelled. That's the correct shape and size. It looks really good. And you've got the separately applied wipers there, which look brilliant. Front panel, very nice, the little twin headlights, the big Optare badge, which was a feature of most of these vehicles, unless operators didn't want the badge on it. The indicators down on the bumper there, they are just printed on by the look of it. There's no relief to them, but they look effective enough, they look pretty decent. And you've got the registration plate there in a little recess, as it should be. Mirrors separately applied and still attached to the bus, for once in one of my reviews. So very nice indeed. The real bus, incidentally, V114DCF, as I said, fleet number 114, was new in January of 2000 to Reading. It worked from till about 2012 when it passed to Hayfordian of Upper Hayford in Oxfordshire, and they re-registered it as 2779UE. It was still with them in 2015, but I'm assuming they're its last operator. I've not been able to trace it since. So we go around to the near side, and it looks pretty good. Construction of it is a metal base, like a tray, so all the bottom part of the front, the sides and the entire back end is cast metal, and the underside as well, the chassis, that's all one piece. Then you've got a plastic window insert up on top, and then you've got a metal roof on top of that. You can see the gap there between the plastic and the metal if the camera focuses properly. There we go. You can see a little gap there, but it doesn't detract from the appearance very much. It's nicely disguised, and the colour match on the where it's painted on the plastic matches quite nicely to the paint on the metal. Sometimes you can have a bit of a contrast on models, but this one hasn't, and it looks really nice. Indicator painted on, but again it looks pretty decent. You've got the general sort of shape of it is pretty good. Again, digital number blind in the window there up at the top. That's just printed on, but it looks pretty good. There's again a contrasting colour where the actual blind is, so it looks like it's recessed in slightly as it would be behind the window, and it does look quite nice. These handrails are printed onto the door, but you can't really tell. They've done it in such a way that you can't tell they're printed on. It looks like separately applied pieces, and the door itself is actually just printed on to the plastic. It's not. There's a little bit of not relief as such, it's not moulded in, but you can feel where the paint is. But again, they've done it so carefully on this one that you can't really tell that it's just painted on. This model was released in November of 2003, so they've been producing the model for about 4 years when this was done, and they had refined it a bit. The early ones, the doors look a bit less effective than this, but by 2003 they'd done this bit of printing and stuff a bit better, so it does look quite realistic. The step looks decent as well. You've got a representation of the little brushes at the bottom of the door there in black, and then the step itself looks nice. There's a bit of moulded detail, and it's about the right size. Yeah, very nice indeed. Panel lines cast in as well. You can see there. The vents there are printed onto the side, but they look decent enough, and the wheels are very nice. They more or less capture the look of the Solo wheel. The back wheel's probably a bit better than the front one, but they look pretty decent anyway. And the general decor and stuff, very nice. Reading buses at the time were using the name Lowrider for their full-size low-floor buses, and they decided to adopt the model name and adapt that name, and so the Solos were marketed as Solo Riders, which is why it's on there. But yeah, here is the Solo Rider, easy access for all. Very, very nice indeed. Going to the back, and it is pretty good. The back of OOC models always really, really nice. I mean, this whole model the Solo is a very good model. Some of the OOCs are a little bit iffy in places, but the back always seems to be nice, and this is no exception. Again, you've got the marker lights up at the top there. They are cast in. There's a bit of relief to them. You've got digital blind printed on there. All this is printed, but it doesn't look like it. They've managed to do it in such a way that it looks like the registration plate is behind glass, as it was on the real buses. It's not behind any glazing, but it just looks like it is. You've got the Optare badge again printed in there, which looks really good. And again, a digital blind, it looks again like it's recessed behind glass, even though it isn't. They've managed to print it, so it gives that impression. Panel lines nicely done, not much else on the back of it as there wouldn't be. The lights are nice there, cast in as well, and they look really good. They're painted nice and carefully. The little marker lights on the bottom there are just printed on by the look of it, but again they look decent, and the shape of the back bumper area is very, very nice. Round to the offside, not much else to report really. The big grille on the back, the sort of outside, the outside of it, the sort of surrounds of it are cast in, so you can see the panels there. The grille itself is printed on, but it looks really good. A little bit too clean perhaps. When the bus had been in service, it would of course get mucked and blackened a bit with the heat. Emergency door, the surround of it is cast in. The handle is there, although it could do with picking out in silver just to make it stand out, and then it vanishes into the glazing, which is understandable. It would on the real bus as well. It wasn't picked out in a different colour on the real vehicle, so it looks decent enough. The windows are printed on, the opening vents are printed on, but again they look decent. The glazing on the real Solo is quite flush to the side of the vehicle, so that captures the look of it, and you can't really tell that they're printed unless you kind of rub your finger over it like that. But again, panel lines there, wheels look good. You've got the little sort of fuel filler there. There's a little other filler or something above it as well, which is just printed on. This, the bigger one's cast in, and you've got a marker light there which is cast, and again a printed on indicator. Going to the roof, the blind box is a decent shape. It's about right shape and size, everything like that. Nothing much else to report apart from this little skylight, top light there, which looks really, really nice. surround cast in, and the glazing is pretty decent as well. Got the little join there between the roof section and the back stroke bottom of sides, chassis, etc. But that can't be helped, and it doesn't really detract from the appearance. We can't really see the underside because it won't come off the base, but if I shine my light, let's try it that way. That's better. You can just about see that there is some cast-in chassis detail there. You can see a bit of the framework, and there will be like air tanks and things, the underside of the engine, all that kind of thing. It looks quite subtle. Some of the OOCs, as I remarked before, the detail's very, very sort of crude on the chassis, but this one looks pretty good. Yeah, there is a bit of detail there, but it looks about right. It's quite nice. If you ever get it off the base, I'll hopefully have a better look at it. Turning to the interior, lovely, yeah. This was one of the better OOC ones. The actual handrails are all in a kind of weird, it's like a fence. You've got a top and bottom bit with the handrails coming down in the middle, but you can't really tell when you look at it from normal viewing. If you look at the floor, you can see the bottom of that unit along the floor, the orange line, which wouldn't be there in real life. But from normal viewing, you can't tell that. So the handrails look really good in their orange colour. The seats are very nice. You've got the individual high back seats there. Going to put some more light on it so you can hopefully see it. That's better. So yeah, you can see the individual seat backs there. Done in a purple colour. I don't know what colour the seats were on the rail bus, but that looks pretty reasonable. At the front there, you've got the little moulded luggage kind of pen thing that was on the engine cover. Driver's cab, steering wheel in a separate colour, and you've got the driver's dashboard there sticking up. No detail on it, but the general shape of it's right. Driver's seat. And it all looks very, very nice indeed. It is a nice little model. It's not the newest model on the market, obviously, introduced in 1998. Sorry, 1999. The model, the real bus was 98. The model was 99. But it's, you know, it still passes muster. It's a very, very nice model, and I've certainly seen worse. So, if you want to buy one, how much will it cost you? Well, I've had a look on eBay for the purposes of the video. I'm doing this review in early June of 2025. And the cheapest one I could find on eBay was £27.76, including postage and packing. And that was one of the Omnidecker models, commissioned Epsom coaches ones in London Buses red livery. It was brand new. Bizarrely, they're cheaper a lot of the time than the actual Corgi OOC normal releases. But that was the cheapest one I could find. The most expensive was £59.99 plus £2.95 postage and packing, so £62.94 all in. And that was the Ulster Bus ones. The Ulster Bus models tend to be quite sought after. So yeah, somewhere between the mid to high 20s and the sort of early to mid 60s. So yeah, 27 to 62 basically. I'll look at Liz Keith as well, the model shop in Eastbourne that I sometimes look at for a bit of balance. And they only had one Solo for sale. It was a second-hand Wilson Dorset one, Corgi OOC, in the livery of Wilson Dorset, and that was £30. So from Liz Keith, you're looking at postage on top, about £4 usually. So that'd be £34 for that one. So they're not the cheapest models available on the market. They are actually quite sought after, and they've become more so in the last few years. A few years ago, you could pick them up for, you know, a few quid, like a tenner or something, if you were lucky. But the prices have gone up, and they are, as I say, quite sought after now. But it's well worth getting them. As I say, you can't really avoid Solos wherever you go in the UK. There will be a Solo there somewhere, even now. Although the you know, the first ones produced are getting very, very long in the tooth, and in fact have been withdrawn in most cases. The original style of Solo like this, as I say, was produced until 2012. So the newest ones are about 13 years old as I'm doing this, but there's still quite a lot of them very much in service. And you will have to go a long way to find a place where there isn't one, basically. They will turn up everywhere, so they are very, very useful indeed. So yeah, they're well worth getting and still very relevant to the modern transport scene. So thank you for watching as always. I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you have, please hit the like button, because it just means YouTube make it a bit more visible to other watchers, and therefore other people watch it as well. But thanks as always for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.